Hello there, Scorpio. Tuning in if you're Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus sign in Scorpio. Beginning with an opening prayer. Jesus Christ, enter this space for Scorpio with your purifying fire. Illuminate all shadows and awaken deep transformation. May this reading unveil the truth hidden beneath the surface and bring renewal, rebirth, and restoration in all Scorpios listening. Let their power be used for good and surrendered fully to your divine will and plan. In Jesus' name, amen. So coming in with the four bodies of existence, read, tapping in and embodying, meditating on the energies of Scorpio before I turn the camera on, and thus far, here and now. And look, there's been some pains. It really is like collective, and with this Capricorn full moon, the water signs are feeling it the most. Ultimately, you're the emotion, the water, the feels. And the Capricorn practicality, the seriousness, the structuredness, it really goes against and rubs the divine flow of the river in the water signs the most. So overall, I have most water in my chart, so I do know how you're all feeling. I have Cancer and Venus, I have Pisces rising, I have Scorpios around me in the physical, so I am aware of how you're experiencing, but let's get overall energies for Scorpio in the physical body of existence. Pisces, Spirit, why am I tending to Pisces? It's so interesting. Pisces have a very strong read, and you may be dealing with a Pisces in your physical reality, or you may have Pisces in your chart. But overall, physical body of existence for Scorpio, please, Spirit. We do have Ace of Swords, Giant Whale. So look, y'all have been, and this has been affecting your physical reality because it's come up in the physical body of existence, but y'all have been looking at the big life questioning, or you will this week, be questioning, why are we freaking here? What is a human? What is consciousness? What happens after we die? And, there is some heavy emotions that goes with, because this is a fantasy tarot, the Ace of Cups, the giant whale. It feels like a giant, whale within your auric field, or a giant, clump in your throat, or, a giant hole in your heart. This is maybe weighing on you this week in regards to, specifically why you feel so much as well. Scorpios are always misinterpreted in regards to their feels. A lot of people think that Scorpio is actually a fire sign. So, they get this projection image upon them that they're a fire sign, that they're fiery. And, watch Scorpios because they might sting you with their tail, etc. And it's so far from the truth of the emotional mysticism that comes from your Scorpios. But Four of Swords here, you may have aches and pains in your body this week. It could have been from physical exertion, but, there's definitely this weird, dull, maybe even a bit of depression or sloth energy. You'll really need to get out in some sun, get out and do some activity, get out and really tend to your physical vessel. It's not always about the mindset. It's not always about your emotions. You have to tend to the temple of your physical body this week, Pisces. Why do I keep saying Pisces for you? It's like y'all are taking on, how Pisces are usually seen as the ones that feel the most. I actually feel like Scorpios do, and that's why it keeps coming through. It's this collective conditioning and programming, this template, this construct that that Pisces are the ones that feel the most, but when in truth y'all are the ones that feel the most. I feel like y'all have been rocked by this Capricorn full moon the most. There may be some certain aspects, y'all are even questioning your sanity this week, and if anything, y'all are the most switched on in regards to the collective perception and awareness and knowledge of how the mysteries of Christ and mysteries of the universe. And it's just you'll have a hard time expressing it, you'll have a hard time putting it into words. So the Chariot energy coming through here, this is Cancerian energy. So in your emotional body of existence, you really want a happy family household. You want fun times. This is where you light up. And I feel like this is what you've come to the conclusion of. Life is all about relationships. Life is all about how you'll treat each other. And you're seeing the injustices, or you're seeing the boredom, you're seeing the lack thereof, you're seeing others' shadow selves, but you are perceiving it, right? Especially because you'll delve into the shadow aspects more than most signs as well. Because like the moon card, I believe, is Scorpio energy, and that's all about the shadow self, the internal realm. Like, you're not feeling the best. There's a bit of a soul cry that needs to come through. You know, there may even be like suicidal energies, but the Chariot, you will move through this, and you will move to the highest timeline and have some fun times that you're yearning in your emotions from a soul level. You've got to get your truth out. You've got to speak to someone, Scorpio. You've got to be able to express certain emotions, because in feeling is healing. This too shall pass. Sometimes you just need to shine the light of awareness on certain emotions to allow it to shift. If you keep suppressing them, they're gonna... What's happening here is they're overwhelming you, specifically when you're trying to get rest in bed here with the Four of Swords. It's this huge, giant whale of emotions, this Ace of Cups, this overflowing cup of emotions that you just have nowhere to cast it or gift it or project into. Like, you literally have to find someone, a confidant, some friend or family member or partner, where you can express this emotion. It's energy in motion. It has to move. Because Capricorn full moon is all about like your manifestations, how far you've come. And like we as humans, we're bound to the finite experience. We're hue, infinite light spectrum beings in truth. And because we see the lack thereof through our finite experience, there's always guilt and shame in regards to, well, I haven't, you know, my life isn't what I hoped for. Like, even no matter whether you're a millionaire or you've done all these things and you've traveled on that, it's always the ego construct that wants more, 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 more. In truth, it's actually coming from soul purpose of adding to the fullness of that which is already full. So it's not, in truth, actually the ego. It's not a negative thing. And once you move into that truth, that it's all contrast for expansion, to add to the fullness of what is already full, a paradox within a paradox. You know, it's not that it's meaningless or even meaningful. Like, it's the middle path. You kind of have to just rest in the truth. It doesn't make sense in the sensory experience. Beyond the senses, your eternal truth, it does. And unless you have like a drug-induced or a natural, spiritual experience, a phenomena, an epiphany, an awareness, like you're not going to find the glimpses of that. I feel like that's really what Scorpios are seeking as well, is like the answers, all the mysteries, all the answers to life. And like, you're going through a little bit of an identity crisis here, and you want to move through it quickly, because the emotions, some of them are painful, some of them are quite heavy, like the whale. So you are going through an ego death. We do have the Empress Kali energy, and you know, you may feel quite bipolar. You may feel like you're going from opposite ends of emotions and spectrums and perceptions. You know, you may feel like one moment you're perceiving things as really good, and then the next you're swinging on the pendulum and experiencing things as really negative. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Like, that's legit. Again, the pendulum of contrast, of duality. You have to try and find the middle path of that. You have to sit where the pendulum is. You have to find stillness. So you're going to have to go through some meditation. Maybe go get a massage, maybe relax in the bath, listening to some binaural beats or some meditation music. Like, you have to find your rejuvenation this week, Scorpio, because you are going through an ego death. And, you know, once you do get on the health bandwagon, you start to feel really good about yourself. Once you're structured and disciplined, and you move with obedience here with the Emperor card in your mental body of existence, and you take control of your mind. Again, you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings. So, you know, once you remember that and be the witness, you're in that observer state, you can start, in a sense, to control. In a weird way, it's the opposite direction, because it's surrenderance and allowing the divine wisdom and the gift of knowledge, fortitude, awareness to come through. That's the true control. So, you know, don't try and control your ego like a disciplined, authoritative, you know, parent or something. Don't be abusive to the self, to the ego. You must surrender to gain that control that you're truly looking for. We have strength here. You know, you're very spiritually strong. You all have been through like quite some spiritual warfare, intense like demonic attacks, mental warfare games, you know, projections from others, and you know that you're strong, and you have that Leo pride there, which is very pure. You know, when we've got the Leo energy and the strength, like it's the manticore, you know, coming through. It's all about discipline and obedience from a divine stance, from a universal perspective, and jumping on the spiritual healing journey, you know, in a positive manner is really what's going to uplift you and help you go through this ego death that you're going through. We have Knight of Wands, and it's going to bring back that passion. You know, if you've been lacking any sentiment, passion, you know, fortitude, drive, just know that it is coming back again with discipline and obedience, with that Emperor card there. Really looking up to the Empress, looking up to Mother Earth, looking up to goddesses, and, you know, finding strength from the feminine aspect is really going to help you. Even though I feel like some of y'all have had like a lack of like an emotionally unavailable father figure, you know, I feel like you'll have is a balance, because we've got the Emperor and the Empress here. So, you know, mentally it's about uniting the masculine and feminine essence. There is even like a twin flame union. Ultimately, I speak to all the twin flames, but, you know, that is coming through. Way of faith. Let faith be your guide. This is something else that I feel like you're lacking and you have to move into, is faith. It's either faith or fear. Both faith and fear, you know, you believing in something that you can't see. So why wouldn't you choose faith over the fear? Okay. So we have way of faith. When faith becomes all love, we enter into greatness. From that source, we spread love to all life. We then live in abundance. There is a divine gift inside you, Scorpio, that holds the key to your confidence and trust. That key opens a mysterious inner chamber that reveals the secrets of love to you. It is the entrance to the greatness of your ultimate capacity. You will be like a lantern that spreads light around it, and invisible support will sustain and empower you to enter a vast unknown with total confidence. Dear Scorpio, surrender faithfully to the unrecognized path and benefit from the divine gift that is inside you. Live your dream, risk it all, and take a chance. Have faith that the potential for love is infused into your life. When you surrender to your heart, clues and the guidelines to follow them appear along the way. Bring your dream into reality by having faith that you can face the obstacles along the way. As you master your reality, you will flow towards abundance in the fullness of life. So the mantra for you all this week, Scorpio, is I have faith in my power to face the unknown. I have full assurance that I am not making a mistake, nor am I afraid of making one if I do. Yeah, so I really feel like, you know, things like there's a fear within you, the collective Scorpio tuning in, that like when things get good, it's going to be taken away. And I feel like it's been good for quite some time, or you're on this trajectory that it's just getting better and better and better. Have faith that it can become better than you've ever imagined, and that God will gift you things aligned and suited to your soul that you haven't even thought of, because Creator that created you knows you better than you know yourself, because the self is an illusion. So I'm here if you'd like some assistance, Scorpio, but I'll see you next week. Namaste. Amen.